Here's something I see constantly in high achieving leaders. They're using performance to try to solve an identity problem. It never works because performance and identity operate in two completely different worlds. Performance says prove it, identity says you already are it. Performance is conditional, it's only as good as your last result. Identity is constant, it doesn't fluctuate with the market, the launch, the quarter, the review. The problem is most of us were trained by school, by work, by culture, by motivational culture to believe that if we just perform well enough, long enough, eventually we'll arrive at peace. Well, we'll finally feel like enough. But peace was never on the other side of performance. It's on the side of identity. And until that gets reordered, you keep running a race that has no finish line because the goalposts move every time you get close. Hit the revenue target, and suddenly target was never really the issue. Now there's a new one. Get the recognition, and the relief lasts about a week before the old anxiety creeps back in. This is the difference between identity rooted leadership and performance driven leadership. Identity rooted leaders still pursue excellence, but it's an expression of who they are, not a search for who they might become if they just do enough. Performance driven leaders pursue excellence as a substitute for identity, and it's exhausting because it's trying to make a temporary thing to a thing do a permanent thing for them. I tell my clients doing flows from being, not the other way around. When you know who you are, your doing becomes confident, sustainable, and aligned and energetic. When you're trying to use trying to use doing to establish who you are, your doing becomes anxious, frantic, and never quite enough. So here's a question for today. Where in your life or leadership are you currently trying to perform your way into feeling what can only come from your identity? What would it look like to let your sense of worth come first and let your work be the overflow of that instead of the source of it? That shift alone will change how you lead.